In any classical recordist case, it's you're planning for portability, really. What's involved in putting all that together? Like, what kind of gear do you choose?
So yeah, portability is very important. At the very least, you're loading up it's kind of like a live sound gig, I guess. You're loading up your car, you're going to the recording, and if it's a concert, I'm unloading, setting up. So it's got to be a reasonable amount of gear. Um, Many times before concerts, it's hard to get into a hall more than a couple hours ahead of time. I love to have 3 hours to set up. Sometimes I only have two, sometimes it's one. And so that may affect how many mics I can put up, where I can put them. So I have a portable interface, rack mounted interface, laptop. I usually take two laptops, I run a backup. Um, and other than that, just good collection of mics and, you know, functional stands and things that I can manage on my own most of the time. I do have a assistant that works with me quite a bit, named Will Sampson. Will's a great musician. He's got great ears. He can also act as a producer on a lot of the recordings we do. And so if it's not the two of us, then I have to be able to do it by myself. And the other thing I will say that goes into it besides portability is the reliability. And having a system that you're going to roll into a site, set it up, turn it on, and everything works every time is so critical. I have a mix pre also that I do use my mix pre sometimes, and I think it's a great piece of gear.
Sound devices,
Um,
yeah.
yep. And if I was starting over, I would probably start with a really good pair of Omni mics and a mix pre and just go with that for a while and not try to do more than that until I really understood how to use those pieces of gear as well as I could.
Was it an interesting thing for your wife to observe? Like, hey, you're spending some money on some stuff. What's going on?
Well, you did ask too about how the business came about. So that was one of those discussions we had of like, so is this just going to be a real expensive hobby or, are you really going to do this? And so, yeah, we definitely have talked about it, had discussions about it. And, I think she understands what it takes to be able to do it. And I sit down and when we talk about it and I try to explain, well, this thing does this and here's why I need to be able to do that. I also rent a lot of gear too,
Hmm.
especially camera gear. And so, one of the things that I used to be into photography many years ago in the film photography days. And one of the things when I bought a digital camera that dawned on me pretty quick was this is just a computer. And so just like your computer, 5, 6, 8 years down the road, it's going to be pretty much worthless. And so I'm trying to those types of gear. I mean, obviously I own my interface and I own my laptop and those things that I use every single gig. But cameras and other things that can get outdated quickly, I'm trying to just rent. And I'm finding that to be a really great way to go for gear. Um, some of these recordings too, if they require a whole lot of microphones, I'll rent microphones too. And it takes a long time to build up that kind of mic locker and that kind of studio. And I'm just trying not to rush into it, buy gear I don't need, put off buying gear as long as I can until I really need it. I think that's become an important thing to understand about running it as a business, you know.